Everything we do at Luna is focused on a trauma-informed approach. So what that means is taking into account the needs of the child and the family as they navigate this really complex set of systems and processes. We want to take the weight off their shoulders as they work their way through that.
Child abuse is a serious public health issue. And so if we don't respond well and if we don't respond quickly, children who experience abuse can go on in life to experience some significant issues. The good news is that when we respond together and when we respond well, we can really stop that from happening and ensure they go on to lead healthy, successful lives.
AHS Child Abuse Service has been around for 45 plus years, but there's been, I think, a really positive change for our clients since becoming part of Luna.
And by being a partner in the agency, we all work together to make that happen quickly, rather than a child or the family of that child having to look for a referral from another agency and then wait, days to weeks to be seen by somebody who doesn't necessarily have the expertise in evaluating those kinds of possible injuries.
We usually do an assessment to begin, so we assess their sort of mental health and well-being, specifically looking for the impact of the trauma caused by the abuse. And we create like an individualized treatment plan for therapy to help them overcome the more lasting impacts of trauma.
Before we had CACs, when children disclosed abuse, they had to navigate a lot of public systems all by themselves. Without intent, we were adding a lot of additional system-induced trauma. And so the point of Child Advocacy Centres is that when families and children have experienced something quite traumatic like child abuse, they can now come to one place and we provide all the services and support in one place. And it really enhances the experience and increases the chance for healing for kids and families. We actually have a full-time education liaison here at Luna, and we work closely with all of the school districts in our area to make sure that educators are supported. We focus on how to respond, recognize, and report abuse, and also we can work with them to respond to emerging issues within their schools.
Being on a multidisciplinary team with Luna and CPS and health, all the different partners, for us it makes things seamless. I will go and bend over the cubicle of a police partner outside and say, this is a situation, we need to come up with a plan. If by chance we have an emergency response that's required, the multidisciplinary team rallies right away.
My interactions with young people start here often at Luna. And usually it starts with an introduction in our child space and just familiarizing myself with that young person and them familiarizing themselves with me and their parents.
So from the time I introduce myself, I let them know that they're going to be in charge. My job is to keep them safe, and the way I do that is just by listening to them and hearing what's going on in their world. I usually ask them at the end how they're feeling, and when they can tell me they feel better, I know I did my job.
So after a detective of the Child Abuse Unit conducts their interview with the young person, the next step would be to re-engage with our victim services.
Our victim support team is made up of family support workers and court coordinators. And that team of professionals is really with families from the beginning of their journey here at Luna, all the way through to sometimes what can be a lengthy court process. So we really are the thread that families can always rely on for information about what's happening with their file.
We'll have that quick hallway discussion and say, yeah, this child needs to be seen, and we'll do it right now instead of them having to make a separate trip. We treat them just like a child I might see in a community practice or in another setting. We spend a little time just chatting with the child, getting to know them. We find out their medical history, chat with their parents about all of that. And part of that is because that's important information that might help us, when we're evaluating the child, but also just putting them at ease so that they're not immediately jumping into that maybe less familiar exam situation.
So typically, Crowns will come in sort of late in the journey. At that stage, police have already conducted the investigation and victim services has already spent time with the family. When we come in to prep a child to testify, if we don't have the information that we have as a result of the team at Luna, we're not able to prepare them in the same way. So for example, You don't know if there's mental health concerns. You don't know if they're neurodivergent. You don't know if they have a math exam the next day. Luna is the reason that a Crown has all of that information because of the various stakeholders. And so when we're preparing the child, we're able to do so in a specific way.
I feel that there are moments within every investigation where, in particular, when a young person has, maybe told you about something that has happened in their life, and they feel like they're being heard, and there is a look on their face where, you can tell that, for lack of a better word, you're kind of their hero. You're their spokesperson.
I've gone from having kids that, can't look me in the eye to kids that can say confidently that they know that they're going to move on from their abuse, and who confidently take the stand and will tell the abuser in court that what the abuser did was hurtful and wasn't their fault.
At that stage, really the goal is to help them feel as safe as they can and as comfortable as they can as they tell their story before the judge or the jury.
The biggest challenge of my job is heartbreak. And we manage that by supporting each other, staying active, and just checking in on each other pretty regularly, because it's heavy work, but it's really important, and it definitely gives more than it takes.
When we're responding well and responding quickly and providing families with everything they need, and really reducing the additional stress that families experience after child abuse, we're able to kind of speed their path to healing. My hope is that across the countries, as we see CACs become more established, that we'll all be able to focus on prevention, and we'll know that across this country, if kids do experience abuse, they're able to access a CAC, but that also we're going to see less kids having to come to CACs.
I would love it if I no longer had a job as a child abuse pediatrician. I know that day will never happen completely, but if we were able to say, not only are we helping the victims, but we're helping prevent new victims, that would be amazing. I think that was the next step in the journey.
Child abuse is everyone's issue, and it's a community issue, and we can't do this work alone. So it really is, it's about all of us coming together and recognizing that we all have a role to play in the prevention and intervention of child abuse, and we definitely look to the community for support.